Hello, everyone. It is I, your favorite bard, Seraphine, here again to say what's up. And today we have a very special episode in which we will be smashing or passing monsters. Oh, I have muted you so that they can't hear that. I'm just
That
kidding.
that's
Today we will not be smashing or passing monsters. We will be looking at Runescape monsters that Dare has collected and deciding whether they're difficult, mid, or easy peasy. And in order to help us with this monumental task, we have invited, as the Raven Dreams, just a phenomenal content creator, to come over here and decide whether, we're going to smash or pass these monsters.
I'm smashing them all,
No longer
and I'll
muted,
have
by the way.
reasons this time. I'll have reasons too, by the way.
Oh, great! That'll make for some interesting watching. I have to know what the reasons are. Um, but what was I gonna say? Is yeah, that's what we're doing today, and Dare has compiled a very handy PowerPoint presentation, and I don't know if you shared this with Raven Dare, but
No.
basically I'm gonna be passing through them on the screen, and I guess we're gonna decide what they are. And additionally, I gotta say, Dare, you're gonna have to help us with the pronunciations because RuneScape being like heavy fantasy, I'm looking at the name for the first one, and already I don't know what it's called.
yeah. Don't worry about that. I'll wait for it to show up on the screen, or I mean, I guess you could tell me when you change slide, and
Wait, do you
I'll
not
take
have
it
that
from there.
slide in front of you?
You really have a PowerPoint here, my dude.
I, yeah, I come prepared for PowerPoint presentations.
So the first one here looks like a spider of some variety.
Yes,
Uh huh.
the first one is Araxi, and the description for Araxi is deep in the Araxite lair hangs the spider queen known as Araxi. She is heavily guarded by her lesser half Araxor, as well as her spawnlings. They use the darkness and eerie environment to their advantage.
Now, I guess here's a question that we should have asked ahead of time. Like, will you be providing us with hints or with like some general descriptions of what this monster does, so that we can kind of like get a guess of whether it's good or not? Or
If you want, I can do that.
okay,
If you want a hint, just be like, "What's this do?" and I will answer it without giving away the answer. Hopefully,
okay,
So, you know how I do.
okay,
I'll give my answer, and I'll give my logic behind it because I
okay.
like doing that
All right, let's
because
do
I
it.
talk too much. I'm going to say Araxi one smash two. Um, I'm gonna guess mid. I'm gonna guess mid-level boss for the reasoning of being a spider, and that sounds weird, but in games like Diablo and what the one D&D one I can't think of the name of right now, spiders are typically mid-level bosses meant to look threatening more than they actually are. Because a lot of people have arachnophobia, so you look at spiders, you get scared, kind of thing. But then you end up killing them quickly. So in my opinion, mid-level boss.
Are you thinking
okay.
Divinity? Is Divinity the one that you're referring to, the D&D game?
That's one of them, but it's no, it's
Baldur's Gate.
there you go, Baldur's Gate. Thank you.
Ah, yes. I was
So
gonna
I'm
say like
thinking,
nobody ever refers to Divinity. That game has such a high learning curve.
I think I've only played it once, honestly.
Yeah,
I
same.
have it.
Like I have it too. I played it, and one of my friends who's a huge D&D buff was like, "Hey, you need to try this." And I swear, I spent an hour trying to figure out what to do, and I was like,
So Raven's saying it's a mid-level boss. What are you thinking there, Bard?
The only spider bosses that I have reference to in my head are Quelaag from Dark Souls, and then like the other spider I think from Demon Souls. And in those games, everything is pretty successful at killing you a lot. So I kind of have like this skewed vision of like this is a high difficulty thing. So I'm gonna say high difficulty, especially if it's one of those ambush ones in like a forest like scene, like you were saying.
Well, she is not an ambush predator like in the forest scene, but she is a high level boss. She
Yeah.
is one of the first high level bosses that people are usually able to do. But her and Araxor are pretty mechanic heavy. You need to be able to adapt to different pathways that open up during the week. So it's a pretty low on the high level boss, but it is a high level boss.
I want to say
Damn.
hi to Pimp Demon and Patience G who are in the chat. I thought that I had the chat showing, but I guess I do not. Oh, it's because I have the window capture above it. There we go. Ta-da!
Yeah, you probably have it layered. Maybe.
Yeah, I have it layered wrong. But yes, welcome everybody to to this stream. And if you have your guesses on these bosses, please be sure to drop them in the chat so that I can check them out. We can compare notes. But now you say it's mechanic heavy. Like, what do you mean by that?
So most bosses in the game are, especially like older bosses, it's just you punch it until it's dead. The first phase of the Araxi fight, is you're fighting Araxor, which it has like a web ability where he'll cover himself with a web, and then any damage you do to him gets reflected back onto you. He has an attack where he'll like pull you in close to him and do like a giant leg swipe, which does a ton of damage to you. And he shoots these bombs, and there's a bunch of little different mechanics like that they use throughout the fight.
Gotcha. Kind of reminds me of like the Ornstein and Smaug fight from like Dark Souls, but like, you know, because you have to fight both of them, but it's kind of like this stage situation where like they have different tactics, but the moment that you beat one, then you're facing like technically the real boss, which is a combination of them both. Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right, let's move on to slide number 2.
Slide number 2 is the Chaos Elemental. Wandering deep in the wilderness, this strange creature. It uses all kinds of the words are hard. It uses all kinds of meddlesome magic to confuse and ensure that you won't leave the wilderness without at least putting up a fight first.
Sounds like the coyotes we have here in Texas.
Hey.
I just realized that the whole me reading a description thing means that I actually have to read.
Yeah.
That's a rough one.
Welcome to the narrator community.
I want out. I want to go home.
Let me out.
We all do.
I picture you kind of like the Eric Andre meme, except that instead of "let me in," you're like "let me out."
It's just reversed. I'm on the other side of the fence. So what are our thoughts on the Chaos Elemental?
I will wait to see what Raven has to say because
Oh, okay.
yeah, I have thoughts on this one, but I want to see what your thoughts are first.
So I'm afraid I'm just going to say mid for all of them and get like 2 of them right. But based on the number of polygons he has, I'm going with mid.
You know, I didn't consider the polygons until you said it. That's actually yeah.
He has less polygons than the spider does.
True, and normally you don't make your big bosses look so crummy, I guess. In my thoughts, I was always like, elementals are like the first things you fight in like Final Fantasy. So like, in my head, I'm like, I've never had like an elemental boss. I've always just seen like elemental grunts. So I kind of want to say that this one's low tier.
So we've got low tier and mid tier. Final answers.
Pimp Demon says that boss seems weak. I kind of agree.
Well, Pimp Demon is correct. This is a beginner level boss. Chaos Elemental is probably one of the first bosses put into the game back in the early 2000s. And even though he's in a very dangerous part of the game where players can come by and kill you, he can be killed easily with just no armor, just like a low level weapon. So
Dang.
Damn.
he's pretty easy. He's easy sauce.
He didn't look. He had too many polygons to be a low level to me, but not enough to be a high level. So.
Yep.
Damn.
Yep.
But it's those stabby arms that he could like stab you from far away, and I get it. You think that's like a med level because only med levels have like stabby arms.
Sure.
Is that a real thing?
No, I was just trying to make Raven feel better.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was about to say, so I should be looking for the stabby arms. Is that what we're saying here? Stabby arms is like the benchmark for what a mid level is.
The giant spider technically has stabby arms.
I gotcha. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. See what we got here. This is Nex.
Nex is all the way from Runescape. Nex uses her Zerosian powers to cripple unworthy opponents. Enter her prison at your own risk.
Already go first in this one.
Okay. I heard prison, and basically what that tells me is that she's at the back of some dungeon. I'm going to say that even if she's not hard to beat, she's at a point inside this dungeon where you will have depleted most of your resources. You know, like she will make you go through hell before you get to her, and then she'll beat you easily because you're just exhausted at that point. So I'm going to say probably mid.
Yeah, I think it's the part where he said her prison, as in it's her prison, like her dungeon kind of thing.
Right.
With that, I'm going to go mid as well.
And you are both correct.
Hell yeah.
Yay.
That's what I'm talking about.
Nex was released in 2011, and she was released on January 1st. Her level is actually, or it was January 10th because her level is 1001, so it's 1001, like how they do the date and everywhere else in the world. But she was one of the first hard level bosses, but with how power creep and everything is gone, she is now considered a medium level boss for people to start learning more harder boss mechanics in an easier way, if that makes any sense.
Gotcha.
Interesting.
Okay, but power creep is always like such a weird thing because whenever looking back at certain things like gaming history, like for example, what comes to mind is in my head as a kid, the Eggman robot at the end of Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was just like the pinnacle of difficulty. They make you fight him with no rings, and his hit zone is just around the area where he's got like these spikes for hands. So like if you mistime your jump, you're just gonna land on spikes, and with 0 rings, that's an instant death. Also, he takes 4 additional hits to be defeated. Unlike, the other ones who take 8, this one takes 12. And so it just kind of stacks. Now looking back at it, it's just kind of like, oh, that's really nothing. I mean, like just in my recent playthrough that I did for funsies, I was like, wow, that was a lot easier than I remember.
So, kind of a self-story on that. Sonic Adventures 2, the giant lizard at the end of the game.
Yes.
The ultimate life form, quote unquote. Whenever I was a kid and we had the Dreamcast, I never beat the first stage of that. And it hit a point where I found my Dreamcast after I was an adult and, Patience and I were living together, married, all that stuff. I found the Dreamcast and played the game, and I beat it on the first freaking try. And I'm like, well, it took me almost 20 years, but I did it.
You just feel so upset because you're like, wow, I really sucked at video games back then.
No kidding. Yes. Like, yes, it's the same exact thing. Not with Sonic the Hedgehog. I beat that one because I like really put my mind to it, like, so as a what's it called? Like a 6-7-year-old, I'm like, I'm going to beat this robot if it kills me. So I like every time that I would play the game, I would make sure to get an extra life or 2 in every level so that by the time I got to the final boss, I had 24 extra lives. So I'm like, we are going to beat this thing if it takes all day. But like Mega Man X3, there's a difficulty spike there. And I didn't beat that game until like maybe last year. Where I was like, oh wow, I finally beat the final boss in Mega Man X3. Like 20 some odd years later. So yeah, it's weird, dude. Maybe it's just like, whenever you're younger, you just don't have like the coordination or the patience or the just the general like out of the box thinking to be like, this is, if I hit now, I'm exposed, but if I wait, I can see a better opportunity,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my logic behind it. Long ran from the midnight bar to say, hey, as a
I like
kid, I suck at video games. We
But
got the
adult you had kid use back.
Oh yeah, adult me. Like it's I kind of want to like, PA Nightmares is here, so I want to say hello, PA, welcome. Um, I guess I just kind of I want to picture it as kid me being defeated by these bosses in like a very dramatic, just kind of like fading to black, being like, I may not have defeated you, but future me will come back. Just kind of like future me just like trounces all over them. It's just like, yeah, there we go. Take that.
It's that character arc. I love it.
Is the character arc, yes. The next monster is on the screen, and that is Queen Black Dragon.
I am not looking forward to reading this one because it's got words that are not simple. The first dragon ever created, the Queen Black Dragon, is enormous. Her terrifying roars and incinerating breath will surely stop you in your tracks. Players who've completed the Song of the Depths quest may find it easier to survive against her.
Interesting.
So Bard, what's your thoughts?
Okay. This is a weird one for me because basically you told me two things just now, and those things are that this is technically a hard boss unless you have met a specific condition. So if you've met the specific condition, it's easier. It doesn't tell me that it's easy, just easier. And off the top of my head, what comes to mind is almost like the Lavender Town Pokemon Tower Ghost, that you can't beat it unless you have the self scope, and when you have the self scope, it's almost like a non-battle. So
Right.
I'm kind of worried that I'm going to say, if it requires additional steps to make it easier, then it's hard. But if you complete those additional steps, depending on what they may be, then it's easy. So I'm going to say, I'm just going to take a shot at it here and just say it's hard.
Okay, Raven, what's your thoughts?
Big dragon with stabby fin be hard.
Okay, so we're both saying difficult, and we're both incorrect. The QBD is actually probably one of the easiest bosses.
Die.
It's one of, for the time when it was released, yeah, it was pretty difficult. But once again, times pass and power creep is implemented. So the QBD is really actually good for people who are learning how to do boss mechanics. And it's pretty much a cakewalk at this point in the game.
I feel like that power creep's gonna kick our ass here.
I feel the same because like I'm just gonna take a shot in the dark here and say that all of them are designed to look threatening, but power creep has like just made them like Ice Cube. That whenever he first came out, he was F the police, and now he's making family movies. So
I was going to say, well, who would design a cute and cuddly boss? And then I remembered that the Mega Duckling is a boss in RuneScape. But I was going to add to the list, but it's like not a boss, but it is a boss, and it's great. I love it.
The Mega Duckling. I just want to emphasize that.
I like it.
I'm going to take a second to actually tell you about this boss. So there's a city called Falador, and there's a little park in it, and if you can feed the ducks at the park 20 pieces of bread within 30 seconds, it transforms into the Mega Duck. And then you have to lead it all the way across the whole game map to the other side of the map. And then it swims out into the ocean where the female Mega Duck is. And they kiss and go off into the sunset together. That is the boss fight.
That was an emotional roller coaster of a story that you just sent me on. You,
It's great.
you start off with 30 pieces of bread, right? And then he turns into the Mega Duck. I'm kind of expecting a Diablo type situation
With
where
like the cow queen.
with the cows, yes. So like that's what it was happening in my mind where I'm like, this Mega Duck is a beast. But then it's like, no, you just
It
lead
turns
him.
into a love story. Yeah,
I know.
it ends with a happy ending. No one dies.
At no point in that story did I know what was coming next.
Right? Feed him lots of bread really quick, and then get him a girlfriend. You're essentially his wingman.
That is exactly what it is. You are a duck's wingman.
I love everything about that, even though I didn't know what to expect. We're moving on to General. You say it. I have failed.
General Grardor?
There we go. Like, did I misspell it? But
No,
General
I tripped
Grogger.
over my words. Somber Puppet is here. He says hello, and I say hello back. Gamma Akutabi is here, and he says the Mega Duck. Yes. So
So
carry on.
General Grardor is the leader of the slain Bandosian army. General Grardor is a powerful ogre with a strong melee attack. That's all they have written for him. So,
Based on the
Raven.
fact that he's melee heavy, I'm assuming. And if there's one thing I know about RuneScape, it's that you don't have to melee, right? If I remember correctly, you have spells and arrows and stuff. I would say that probably caps him at a mid because you can probably kill him with a lot of distance attacks.
Okay.
Same thought process. I'm like, normally whenever you have a melee boss in a non-melee specific game, they can go one of two ways. They can either be the boss that just is super easy to get away from and to just pelt things at him until he's dead, or he could be the boss that can close that gap very quickly, and so you better get a couple of shots in when you can. Either way, both of those types of boss battles end up being super mid, so I'm gonna say mid also.
So we're both saying mid.
We're both, yeah, I suppose so.
Yeah.
Had to sneeze, sorry. We're both incorrect.
What?
Ah!
Come on.
General Grardor is one of the easy bosses. He was a very old boss from the first God Wars dungeon. Back in the day, he used to be really hard, but he had the Bandosian armor drops, so everyone would go and just farm him for hours and hours and hours. And
Damn it.
now you can literally just stay there with one inventory of food for days. He's super. I told you guys, if you ask questions, I'll answer your questions.
That's true, and I completely forgot about that until right this second, so I apologize.
I don't know what I would have asked about him, though.
How old of a boss is he?
Well, okay.
That is a brilliant question.
Probably get the answers.
That is a brilliant question. Like,
I'm not gonna tell you like, oh, he's super old from like the early game. I'll be like, he's not that old, or he's kind of old, or brand new boss that just wrecks your shit whenever you fight him. I mean, you ask questions if you got questions.
I guess.
I'll answer one or two.
Here's
5, 6.
what I keep thinking is I need to stop letting Dark Souls influence my guesses, because that game is notoriously hard for reasons. And every time that I try to think about it, like I'm like, well, what in Dark Souls is like that you can think of? And my mind immediately went to like the Flame Lurker from Demon Souls, which was like a melee boss, but god damn it, he could close the gap super quick. So unless you could deal a lot of damage in the time that it took you to get away, it's, you know, you're gonna struggle. So that's where my mind was at.
Yeah, he looks big and bad, and he punch thing and he kick thing, and but he not strong. He weak baby boss.
Weak baby boss. All right, moving on to the next one. We got Calphite King.
Yes, the Calphite king. Deep in the exiled Calphite hive lies the Calphite queen and king. With an army in his service, you're entering into a fight which may not have a happy ending.
How old is the cow fight thing?
He is a rather decently aged boss. I'll say
Decently
that.
aged. All right.
Battle tactics. Let me see here. I want to ask questions. Is this boss in an area that is particularly difficult to reach him, or will he just pretty much be easy peasy to get to?
It is really easy to get to him.
Okay.
And then killing him. Is it easy, medium? No, I'm kidding.
Well, obviously, it's
So, like tactics wise, is he easier to kill with ranged or mid? Like not mid, but melee.
uh, he is what you would consider a hybrid boss. So each combat style has its effectivenesses against him.
Okay. Then I'm gonna lock in my answer at mid level.
I'm gonna say easy.
I gave you guys questions and still both incorrect.
What?
What?
The Caliphite King is a hard boss.
Uh,
He is Big Bug Man, and he actually has quite a few mechanics. I thought when you were gonna ask about like uh, the tacticalness of him,
mhm.
you'd be like, does he have like complicated mechanics, or does he have? I thought you were gonna ask something about the mechanics of him,
In retrospect,
but
that would have been smart. Yeah.
My
he
problem
he
is I don't know what the mechanics are of the game because I haven't played this since like middle school. I'm like,
yeah,
I
hold
remember
on.
cutting wood.
Well, that's part of the boss. There's trees that sprout up, and you gotta chop the trees down around it. No. But yeah, he's a pretty old boss. I believe he came out in like 2011 or 2012, somewhere around there. But he's got quite a few different mechanics. Like he switches from being weak to range to being weak to melee to being weak to magic. He has what everyone calls the green attack, which is what makes him really hard to kill by yourself. Uh, he'll basically turn you green, and then if he hits you, it's an insta kill.
Oof.
He has a couple different like charge attacks. There's the ever popular bomb attack where he just throws tons of these blue and yellow orbs around the room and they explode, dealing tons of damage. And then he summons minions. So he's a fairly complicated boss and fairly difficult to kill.
Interesting. Well,
Well, color me surprised on that one.
same.
The next one though, I'm hoping that you guys will. The next one you should both be able to get.
All right, let's see here. The next one is Giant Mole. Just like what I presently have on my.
Go on. So not quite as fluffy as you might imagine. The giant mole uses its surroundings to put a fight against anything you throw at it.
Okay, sorry, repeat that one more time.
Not quite as fluffy as you might imagine. The giant mole uses its surroundings to put up a fight against anything you throw at it.
That sounds like an easy boss to me, man.
So I'm gonna say easy as well. And my frame of reference is the mole rats from Fallout.
I keep thinking Diglett. Which is
It does look a lot like the mole rats from Fallout.
That's where I'm going with it, because those things are easy as hell. Like even the big ones are like one shot. So yeah,
Well,
moles, dumb,
patient,
easy blind.
patient. Yep. Moles equal dumb equal easy boss. Yep.
Yep.
The giant mole is possibly one of the oldest in the game, and it is. Most people don't even consider it a boss fight anymore because it's even on the hard mode difficulty, it's easy.
Hell yeah.
RuneScape has multiple difficulties.
That's
Yeah,
something that I was unaware of too. Wait a minute.
yeah. So I didn't mention it. A lot of these bosses have hard mode difficulties. I'm not considering those
Okay.
because it was a way to for like the General Gridor. He has a hard mode difficulty where it adds a bunch of different mechanics and makes them do more damage for an increased drop chance of the rare items. I wasn't going to be like, this one's the easy mode, this one's the hard mode. Which one? I mean, obviously the hard mode one's going to be harder.
Gotcha.
But
While we're on that subject, Raven, I want to get your opinion on this because I have strong
Okay.
feelings about this one particular thing, and I know that you're a player of this series of games too, so I kind of want to hear what your thoughts are on it.
Mhm.
Pokemon games have been
Yes.
ridiculously easy for generations. I
Yes.
think it's time that we implement a difficulty system. So
I completely agree with that, because I hate that their answer for the difficulty system is beat the game and then go to like Battle Tower or whatever.
right, yes, because
So
even
like,
the battle tower feels easy to me sometimes. It's just kind of like, come on.
right. I feel like
Um,
honestly, Gen 2 almost did it right with their separate countries, like separate
Yes.
regions,
Yes.
where Kanto was significantly more difficult than Johto was. But I agree, it would be nice to go in and actually have challenges.
Yes, exactly where I was going with that. I feel like the thing is that they want to tell a story, which is understandable because the story is
Sure.
what especially if it's a good story is what will make you remember this region fondly. For example, I I bought into the story of Sun and Moon more than I did into the story of X and Y because
Completely.
Lily was a constant companion, and the story of her mom basically losing her mind was very compelling. And you know, like ultra space and you know basically worlds colliding. I was like, this is really good. I like this. Whereas in X and Y, I can't even remember what the story was about. you know, so
Team Flare
Team
did
Flare.
something?
I love how Team
Okay.
Flare just looks like Pitbull. You know? Like their
I
grunts
do
are
remember
just
that about the
they're
the
just,
X and Y story, was that Lysander was basically evil and wanted to bring back the giant weapon.
right. And you know, like here's the thing. Like, can you remember his motivations? Because I sure as hell can't.
I think it was his hair.
It's got to be his hair. I mean, there's too much hair for it to not be that. I do remember that he was. The one thing that I can remember is that he was like, the world is ugly as it is now. It could be beautiful. So I was like, wait a minute, you ragging because the world ain't got enough swag, my dog? I don't.
Yeah, that's literally what it was, though.
So like that's the
Like-
only thing that I remember. But you know, Sun and Moon had a really good story. The problem that I have with the story is like, yes, by all means, make the story compelling, make it good. Don't hold my hand. I mean, I felt like Sun and Moon just like literally was like every time you would enter a new area, one of your people would be there to be like, hey, you need to come look at this. I'm like, let me find it on my own.
Yeah, no, I agree with that for sure.
Yeah. So
Sun and Moon had some of the best like mechanic improvements, like the rideable Pokemon kind of thing.
Mhm.
So you didn't have to have the HMs, but beyond that, it was too easy.
Yeah, it was super easy, and it's the same for a lot of Pokemon games. Me personally, I'm like, I would love it if they just decided, hey, you know, are you a rookie trainer or are you a veteran? And hey, you know what? Make it even more interesting. If you're a veteran trainer, make your avatar character a little older. You know, like maybe in
Yeah.
like in their teens or something. uh, just for for flavor, basically. But like increase the difficulty of the game. Like now the gym leaders are implementing actual strategies that people have been using in the PvP forever.
Right.
Cool stuff like that. But anyway,
Instead of just star you, star me.
exactly. Like, we're all using the same Pokemon as each other. Like, first gym, we all got Geodudes. You got something that
Right.
beats Geodudes? If not, you're gonna
Oh, we're
have trouble.
Oh no,
Pokemon
Squirtle.
hard mode. You start out with either the choice of a Weedle, a Magikarp, or
Oh no.
fucking the Caterpie, and then Professor Oak's just like, oh, by the way, there's been a Rayquaza spotted outside. Careful.
Give me that Magikarp. We're gonna win.
That would be amazing. I would love that. I think that's like Pokemon. Like, what would you even call that? Like, that's like the equivalent of the
it's like
Fire
one of
Emblem
those-
maddening mode.
Well,
Right.
it's like one of those like Kaizen games or Kai games. I don't remember what they're called. But like the super hard Mario game where it's like whole thing is you die.
Right. Exactly.
If you step one step, you die.
Like the Dante Must Die mode in Devil May Cry, where like like you have to be really good at how this game plays, otherwise you gonna die. But anyway, I'm detracting from the
It was a good detraction.
yeah, from what
Because I agree. So
we got. The next one is the Calphite Queen, and we
Yes.
have 2 images here.
The Calphite Queen is the queen of the Calphites, surrounded by her army to be protected. Be prepared for her change in forms or accept your fate. Big old buggo boss.
So the king was a hard.
Yeah, that's making me think that this queen's gonna be hard too.
Chronologically, which one do you fight first?
That is an excellent question.
Chronologically, as in like
As you're going through the area.
as you're going through the area.
Yeah.
So if you were going to the Calphite King, you would go to the Calphite King. If you were going to the Calphite Queen,
Oh,
you would go to the Calphite
separate?
Queen.
Oh, it's a branch.
Yes.
Damn. Okay. I don't know, man. The 2 forms makes me think it gets harder.
Same. I'm kind of thinking that that it's gonna be like if you beat the one, whatever one you choose, then the second one's gonna be harder. That's where my mind is at.
Yeah, I like Patience's thing with multiple. Yeah, having 2 different forms means that it takes multiple hits, so it would take longer to kill.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true. Different multiple stage bosses have a tendency to be a lot harder than the one stage guys.
Okay.
This,
Uh,
I'll lose the point and say hard.
Okay. So we have hard and what's Bart gonna say?
Before I give my answer, I want to like call out what PA Nightmare said. That he says the crafting setting in Legends of Arceus and the lack of storage made it more strategy based, and I loved it. Legends Arceus is a different horse altogether, and I personally liked it a lot. I thought, yeah, we've been playing the same Pokemon game for years, for decades. This was a breath of fresh air in the right direction. I feel like if we can have a really,
Really,
I
haven't bought it yet, so.
Oh, you haven't bought it yet? Okay. That wasn't like a really, you haven't beaten it? Come on. It was like I haven't either. So that's surprising that I'm not the only one.
No, I don't own it yet, so soon, eventually.
It is a horse of a different color. It is a fun game. It is a breath of fresh air, and I think that if we can make the next gen Pokemon game, which is going to be Scarlet and Violet, have an open world in the same way that Legends Arceus did, it's just going to be killer. I don't know if they will. I feel like that's 2 different teams that worked on this one. But if we could, to me that would just be aces. That said, I think the Calphite Queen is a hard boss.
I'm really enjoying this a
Oh
lot.
no, come on.
The Calphite Queen is an easy boss.
Being
Ah.
serious.
She is probably one of the first bosses put into the game. The mechanic that she has is you kill her and then you kill her second form, and she uses protection prayers from, I believe her first phase is range and magic, so you have to use melee, and then you have to switch to using either range or magic because she'll protect from melee in her second form, which is the giant wasp. But you're like, think it takes longer to kill her, and it's like my record time is 42 seconds killing her.
Oh God.
So she's an easy boss, old
Can you
boss.
even call that a boss though? I mean, I feel like
She, yeah, she's technically she's listed in the boss tab. So
okay.
it's like the giant mole. Like the giant mole is really easy too, and he's listed in the boss tab. So technically, I guess he's a boss.
Nah, I gotcha. Well, that's disappointing. I thought I had this one nailed.
Just FYI,
Yo.
um, it is being speculated that Scarlet and Violet will be open world games
Oh hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
because the Pokemon Co. tweeted out a while back in February, embark on an open world adventure in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
I missed all of that
They
because I
called
was
it as such.
I was like, I missed all of that because I was too busy fawning over Fuecoco.
Same. Thank you.
Yeah.
Finally, someone else likes Fuecoco.
Right? Everybody went for Weed Cat like right off the bat. I was like, hey, but
No,
you got
I
like
like the duck and I like Fuecoco.
right. Like you got Dolan, you got Fuecoco, and you got Weed Cat.
I don't know what these are, but the names make me happy. I don't know why, but they just fill me with a happiness.
Have
There
you
you go,
Say
buddy.
say Fuecoco again.
Fuecoco?
Just keep saying it. Let's just not. Let's just stop with the guessing and just say Fuecoco for the rest of the stream.
The rest of the stream just like 45 minutes of Fuecoco.
It'd be I'm down for it.
All right, let me see here. Which tab did I have this in? Here it is. Next one, we got Raksha.
Imprisoned beneath the ancient ruins of the Orphan lies the shadow colossus known as Raksha. Its power came from the elder gods, but for something else.
Now that is a hell of a what do you call it, lore blurb for it to be an easy boss.
Yeah.
I mean, they called it a colossus, which in my head does not equate to a pushover.
It's giant dinosaur.
It is a giant dinosaur with restraints on it. That is okay. So questions, firstly. And I'm going to lead with one of Raven's questions because I feel like that's probably one of the better measurements of how good this boss is. But how old is this boss?
It is fairly new, I would say.
Oh,
Within the past maybe 5-6 years.
So it's recent.
it is recent.
See, that kind of, to me, ups the difficulty level just a little bit.
Agreed.
Okay, so its attacks. What are its attacks against you? Like, what is it known for, I guess?
It has many different attacks.
Okay.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how difficult would you say it is? No, I'm just-
Well, obviously, I'm going to have to rate it.
Uh, Okay. So it looks like one of those armored dinosaurs. Is this one of those that like has a tendency to resist melee attacks a lot?
That I don't know.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I
All right.
I feel like this
I'm
is
gonna
gonna
go
be a trick.
mid.
Yeah, I'm gonna go mid too. I feel like this is a trick.
I'm the same way. I feel like it's gonna be like, oh, it's actually super easy. It's like,
Yeah, after the Calphite Queen, I don't know what to trust anymore.
So I'm going to tell you this fact, and I want you to tell me if you think you got it right or wrong. I've never beaten this boss.
oh shit.
Damn. Well, earlier you were saying you were bad at this game, so mid.
Okay,
Yes.
this is a difficult boss. It's got a combat level of 6,000, and I've never been able to kill it.
Uh,
It's got a lot of different game mechanics to it. It's got multiple different phases to it, and some of its items are worth billions of gold because it's just
Damn it.
big, strong dude.
Now, here's a question then. You said its combat level is 6,000. What is like the baseline? Like, like
Well,
for an okay boss.
that like okay, so combat levels somewhat matter, somewhat don't. Like the giant mole is level 230, the Caliphite Queen is level 330, and then you get something like Rock Show, which is 6,000.
Oh,
Next, like I said, was
hold them up. Yeah,
1,001.
because
Yes,
that.
I feel like you said one was 1,000. That was mid level.
Okay, so because I was listening to the levels for the Calphite Queen and the Giant Mole, and I was like, okay, so 2 and 3, and then you said 6,000. I was like, that's an extra digit. So that is significantly like categorically different.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, I guess I can see why it's hard.
Which sometimes I feel like Jagex is just like, let's put big number on the screen, and see how they fare.
All right, Raksha Hard Boy. Now we got one that I'm not even gonna attempt to pronounce.
Akjad?
Tazok
Tis Talk Jod.
TikTok Boy.
The,
TikTok Chad.
the TikTok Chad can be fought within the fight caves of the fight kiln or the fight kiln. If you can survive long enough to see it, that is. Armed with very strong attacks, you better pray that it doesn't end you before you receive your reward.
Could you please repeat where it is that you see it?
You can fight it within the fight caves or the fight kiln, which this hasn't been updated, it looks like, to also say it can be fought within the City of Sentencing challenge as well.
Automatically, I want to say that something that you fight in a place called the Fight Cave is going to be tougher than normal.
Right. One would think, because that. I mean, fight cave. It's like Battle Tower.
Yeah, it's like Battle Tower. Yeah.
Um. How new is it? The age of the boss?
It old.
Oh, it old. That changes a lot of things.
Hmm.
But I don't know.
I'm gonna say mid. I'm gonna say mid.
I'm gonna say
Just 'cause
hard.
The TikTok Chad feels like a mid. I feel like he was probably hard at the beginning, but nowadays he's just like, we could take him down.
Yeah, that's where I was too. Now, whenever he mentioned the age, here's the thing though. He mentioned that it can be fought there, and that you better hope it doesn't take you out before you can claim your reward. There was something else that he said that made me think, okay, so I'm gonna be looking for him and may or may not find him right away, which like sometimes bosses are more difficult just because of where they are, and like, you know, just how many resources you have left available to you by the time you reach them. So I'm gonna say, depending on the difficulty of the area around him, TikTok Chad hard boy.
Fair.
You guys need to
Ask more
you need to
questions.
stop providing me with so much joy and
Oh
laughter.
God.
He's easy,
The
isn't he?
He's an easy boss.
Come on.
The fight caves have been around for a very long time in the game, and it's a 64 wave battle system, which he's the final boss to, which it all just boils down to if you pray correctly against him, he can't even hurt you.
Oh Lord.
But within the fight kiln and the new sentencing area, he's more or less just a mob in those, that they just throw multiple ones at you to the point where you have to fight 3 or 4 of them at the same time. And if you don't pray correctly, they can kill you in one hit.
Well, I'm upset
That'd
at
be
that.
Me too.
I'm upset too. You guys, I thought this would be a little bit easier. I gave you a 33% chance on each of these to guess it right. And just you guys are just pooping the bed.
Yeah. Yeah. We Amber Heard over here.
I was gonna say that, but it's like either Bard's gonna say it or someone will say it. I don't have to say it.
Uh,
Yeah, you can ask questions.
I
Give me
know.
questions.
I know. I asked the questions like based on what I asked. I was like, logically, this has to be this.
Exactly.
You're like, nope, it's easy.
But we got 3 more.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's.
Oh, and I got TikTok Zach.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
These names. So the Tizkal Zuk waits beneath the ancient city of Sentensen for a challenge worthy enough to take him on.
Damn it. Okay, so let me ask you this: you gotta face the TikTok Chad before you can get to TikTok Zach.
You have to face the multiple TikTok Chads before you get to TikTok Zach.
Okay, so he's harder than TikTok Zach.
I mean TikTok Chad.
Than TikTok Chad, yes.
Yeah.
He's harder than himself.
Okay, here's a question that I feel will like answer it. Do you ever have to face this one in a mob situation?
Like him along with extra minions?
Yes.
Or...
Either or. Like him along with extra minions or him as multiples of himself?
No.
Okay.
Whenever you fight him, it is him and him alone.
Okay. But the fight caves have been around forever. But he's not in the fight caves. He's in the city of...
Sentenston.
How old is the city of Sentenston?
Lore-wise, or...
No, like game-wise.
I believe it was released last year.
Okay. I'm going to say TikTok Zach is mid.
Raven.
No, I'm going TikTok Zach is hard.
Okay. So we have hard and medium locked in, and TikTok Zach is difficult.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, so help me dare if you say easy.
He is level 14,000.
Okay, holy
And
cow.
His battle phase, he has basically another fight arena style, like a fight cave style wave system. But his is only, I believe, 16 or 18 waves, in which you fight 3 different waves where you have one TikTok Jad. You have 2 TikTok Jads, and then you'll have 3 TikTok Jads. And he's got just a bunch of different mechanics that makes the fight cave for him really hard to get to him. And then when you fight him, he's just like, I'm going to slap you really hard and you'll die.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I'm not even mad about that one because, Raven got it right. So I was like, okay, as long as one of us got it right, that's what I wanted. I was tired of both of us being wrong.
That's Zook was actually put into old school RuneScape years and years ago. And for old school RuneScape, beating Zook is like one of the in-game goals most players put for themselves. So, I mean, even in the old school, he's an extremely hard boss to fight.
Alrighty.
oh no.
Hold on just a second. Moving on to the next one. Oh, Avarice the Unceasing and Nymora the Vengeful.
The Vengeful and Unceasing are the twin furies, Avarice and Namora. Strike down enemies of Zamorak with deadly conviction.
Do you fight these two together?
Yes.
That's an excellent question. I don't know why I'm getting like Agni and Rudra vibes from Devil May Cry 3.
The more important question is smash or pass.
Nomura pass, but the other one smash 100%.
Wow.
I have no idea which one's which.
Avarice is the blue one, and Namora is the red one, if I remember correctly.
Okay. Well, no change in my answer.
I'm gonna pass on both. I don't like the weird things that got coming out of their back.
Those are called wings.
Are those
are
wings?
Raven.
Those are wings?
Yeah. I think technically they're supposed to be like fallen angels, so those are like broken wings on their back.
Okay.
Does that change your smash or pass, Raven?
No, I'm still gonna go pass.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like the mirroring fashion sense that they have. Like the mirror image fashion sense that their armor is identical, only on the other side.
That's something with their one of the weapons they drop. They actually drop the blades of Namora and Avarice, which are they're colored the same way as they are, but they're like mirrored blades that you dual wield, and they're pretty cool.
Is this boss known for dropping legendary loot?
Technically, all of them are known for dropping legendary loot.
I guess.
If I can, I'll give you a little redirected hint as to what I think you were talking about, because RuneScape doesn't have like a rare, unrare, legendary-esque type drop system. It's more of a these are the valuable items and they have different drop rates, but they do have some decent loot, but there's nothing like super expensive.
Okay.
And age-wise, they are.
Is that a question for PA?
What?
Is that a question for PA? What?
No.
Oh, age-wise. Oh, okay.
What did you think I said?
I read PA's comment and then thought you meant like age of consent question. You're asking about how old they are from the game, like how old they are.
No.
Within the past maybe 5 to 6 years, they've been put into the game. I got scared.
Are they a type of boss where you can kill one and then have to kill the other separately, or do you have to kill them both at the same time?
They die at the same time.
Same time. All right. In my opinion, that makes it a little bit harder, but I'm gonna say mid-level.
Same. I'm gonna go with mid.
And you would both be correct.
Hell
They
yeah!
are a mid-level boss.
Mid boss.
They do have a hard mode, but even with the hard mode, they're still like pretty not bad. I think the hard mode just adds that the outside of the arena is on fire, and they just throw like this giant fireball that bounces around the ring and hits you.
Definitely makes it harder.
Patience says, "Do they talk? And if so, do they taunt?"
I actually think that they do have voice lines, and they are one of the few bosses that have voice lines.
Huh.
Like Nex, the one that we had earlier, Nex has voice lines and is a voiced boss. But for the most part, a lot of bosses don't have any kind of dialogue.
Okay, moving on to I guess the last slide. Oh, how about that? This is Harakin.
I actually have to. Oh, there we are. So, coated in lava, Harakin requires immense endurance to reach, and even more to defeat. It's a giant lava squid.
So those arms are his then.
Those arms are his.
Oh, I thought that was part of the cave. Those are arms. Does he deal contact damage?
So, like melee damage?
No,
Question mark. Or...
as in like he's coated in lava, and I don't know if this is a thing in RuneScape, but like if you touch him,
if he reflects damage back to you,
yeah,
if you hit him, no, he does not reflect damage back.
Got it.
Does he just have the one form?
Yes.
Okay.
About his stage, is there hazards that you have to avoid while trying to fight him and avoid his attacks?
His stage is just, it's a small square stage, and the only thing that you have to worry about is him and his tentacles.
So it's just a straightforward fight then.
Is there safe zones where the tentacles can't reach you?
There is not.
Okay. I feel pretty confident saying mid.
I'm gonna say hard.
And the answer is he is a mid-level boss.
Yeah.
The Harakan is like the Tiztok Jad and the Tiztok or Tizkar TikTok boy. The Tiz calls Zuck. He's another one of the wave by wave bosses. This is the second one of the three, where it is, I think, 34 waves, and he's the final boss of it. And he has a lot of health. He spawns a bunch of the tentacles that use range and mage attacks on you. And in the Tizkal Zuck battle, you have to fight one of these. And it's a lot stronger than the one that you face in the actual Harakan fight. So he like spits lava bubbles and stuff, and he's all squishy. He's a squishy boy, but he's a medium boy.
Okay. Well, I would imagine that this is a testament to how you can't you can't judge a boss by his sprite.
Very much so.
Yeah.
That was my only chance to even it up too, and I failed. So
I'm just happy that it was not a 0-0 score.
Yeah, we were pretty neck and neck for the most part. I feel like that this could have just as easily been a tie, because like my first instinct was to say he's easy.
And
I wanted to believe he was hard.
no,
I
it's
wanted.
screw the rules. Raven gets plus 10 points. Raven wins.
Yeah. Yay.
That means
But
I'm at 2.
but that's I was really happy that you guys you did score some, and like I said, it was fun for
Yeah.
me to have you go through these thought processes and then be like, no, you're wrong.
Yeah. I kind of figured
That
you were
feels
going to
like a
kick
very
it.
Dareinger thing.
Yeah, I know.
This guy looks really muscular and he has a big sword and hits things. What do you mean he's easy? Come on.
I think that we've all been programmed to just kind of like understand that the big burly guy is usually the easiest to beat up.
Yeah.
You know,
He's usually the big teddy bear that he just wants to go pick flowers and press them into a diary somewhere.
right. I've never seen a game boss that unless okay, that was a giant burly guy that you just had difficulty beating unless he's towering several stories over you. That's a different story. But so for example, whenever we were looking at find him, we were looking at for example, General Grardor. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, no, there's no way that he's a hard boss. He's just a big burly dude. But then, whenever we were looking at TikTok Zach, and I was like, he's a big burly guy, but he's supposed to be harder than TikTok Chad, so not easy, mid. But yeah, it's that was my logic behind all that.
Yeah. And like I said, it's always fun to like see people's thought process on this kind of stuff because uh, the videos that I told you I was watching that gave me the idea to do this, it was like the guy had never seen Yu-Gi-Oh cards before, and he was just like, "This one looks like it should be good, so it's good." And then he looks it up and he's like, "It's not good. I'm upset." Uh, Patience asked if I had beaten all of these except for the one that I mentioned, which was Raksha, I believe.
Mm.
There are two of them, I think, that I haven't beaten. I have not. I have not beaten Tis called Zuck before. I've came close, but like I said, he just punches me in the face and I die. And then Raksha. Those are the only two that I don't have kills on. I guess technically I've never soloed the Caliphate King. I've killed it though with other people, and it was not fun because bomb phase is just terrible and scary.
Now, here's a question. Like, the hard ones, or this is probably like a weird question because I'm gonna guess that the answer is gonna be like, oh well, the more people you have fighting it, the it starts to scale to the group. But is that the case? Like, if you bring more people to a hard boss, does he become easier, or does the boss scale to the party that you have with you?
The easy answer is yes and no. It depends on the boss. So, like, Nex technically has a hard mode called Nex Angel of Death, which you need to have like 20 people to actually have a chance to kill it because it's difficult.
Hmm.
And then you have something like the Caliphate King, where the more people you have means the more bombs it's going to throw. So killing it with less people is usually a little bit easier.
Hmm.
So some of them, it's the game mechanics that makes it difficult, and some of them, it is just the nature of the boss to be extremely difficult. But
Right.
I don't think there's any of them that really have like a scaling mechanic that says if you have 4 people, it's going to be plus 3% damage for the boss output or anything like that, unless it's something like the Caliphate King where it's just like, haha, I throw tons of bombs around the room. Don't stand on top of each other. and then everyone stands on top of each other, and you watch as like half the team just gets obliterated.
Well, yeah, that's like the tactic from the movie Gladiator. Whenever they were getting torn to pieces, it was like stand together, and they survived. So I assume that works in all situations in life.
Some more than others.
Well, that was a lot of fun, and I have learned a lot about RuneScape. Not really. I have learned a lot about the. Well, I keep wanting to say I have learned a lot, but I still know next to nothing. This was fun.
I learned more than what I knew before I started this show today.
Yes, precisely.
Time for all of us to go become level 99 woodcutting.
I'm right there with you.
Is there like a tree boss that is just particularly weak whenever your woodcutting is up there?
Now, see, that is a question that there's technically two answers to.
Oh God.
Yes, there's a tree boss. His name is Solak, and he's a extremely hard boss. And then, yes, there is a boss that requires you to use skilling, and woodcutting is one of the skills. And its name is Croesus, and it's a giant fungus.
I think that would be hilarious if like the tree boss was just like really weak to like a woodsman that does nothing but chop wood.
You just go there with like your hatchet, and you just sit there chopping at its ankles,
Yeah, basically.
and then he just stomps on you, and you're like, okay, respawn, do it again.
You just keep doing it until he topples over. I mean, it's I don't know if you've ever chopped a tree down, but it's kind of like a
It's a boss battle.
it's a fight of attrition. You know, like that tree is gonna lose. You just gotta keep hacking.
Eventually, it's gonna fall down, and then whether or not it falls on you, that's a different question.
Exactly.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah. It almost did. God help me, I saw it at the last moment. Yeah, I have
This is fun though.
I have mentioned that I've had like every job imaginable. I was a what do you call it? A lumberjack for all of 2 weeks, and I don't recommend if you're like if you're easily distracted like me. That's a good way to get squished by a tree, man.
I can imagine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Anyways.
trees, man.
Trees.
So now on the Nevermore Collective, our next subject we want to talk about now that our game's over is trees. What can you do to help save the environment?
Plant tree.
Plant tree.
Thank you for joining us. Go plant tree.
Plant tree. Clean water. I don't know. Domesticate bear.
Ooh.
Drink chai latte tea.
Oh yes, yes. Drink chai latte.
Out of a bamboo straw.
Out of bamboo straw, and punch a panda.
Give bumblebee flower.
Give Bomble flour.
No.
Bomble want flour.
So I do have to ask the question, and it was about bears, and I can't. So because recently I've been watching this show that's about animal attacks, and I had no idea how horrifying bears were in real life. Because in my well, to be specific, how horrific polar bears are in real life. Because in my mind, all they ever did was sell you Coca-Cola. But apparently they're just some manner of apex predator in their environment.
Well, was it you and I that we were talking the other day about this? We were talking about bear attacks or something. Where I was talking to somebody about the Grizzly Man film, and I don't remember who it was.
It was me, yes, I remember.
Because I don't think I mentioned it to you, but I was like, yeah, grizzly bears are like super vicious because they won't just kill you. They want to like make it as torturous of a death as they can. So they'll like
Yeah.
rip your arms off and everything. And then it's going to be like, and polar bears are worse.
Polar bears are worse. I had no idea that these things can stand like the height of a full-grown man on all fours. I don't know why, but I kind of pictured like a polar bear would be like a slightly larger Saint Bernard.
Oh, no.
I was way off, man. I was like,
Well, you should see them when they stand upright. They're the size of a giraffe.
that is terrifying. I mean, just completely out of left field. It's just, right now we were talking about punching pandas, and I was like, yeah, sure, because those are dumb bears. But polar bears, on the other hand, these things are awful.
They're known as the megalodons of the land up north.
Is that a real thing?
No.
It is now. That's what I'm calling them.
Oh, God. And on
242, beware. Polar bears. Megalodons of the north.
While we're on the subject of 242, moose are also horrifying. In the same show where they're like, hey, a polar bear has a tendency to like catch its prey, and usually when it catches its prey, it'll do it by the head. That, so like in this one particular bear attack, like the guy was in a tent, and then the polar bear saw him, so he went in, tore apart the tent, bit down on his head, and started dragging him away with his head in its jaws. And I was like, oh, that is absolutely horrifying. That is terrifying. But in the same exact thing, they're like, okay, so yeah, polar bear, horrifying. It'll bite your head and drag you away and, just kind of like have its way with you. The moose, it's like this thing, again, also, I thought they were the size of like maybe a deer. And it turns out that they're the size of a minivan.
Yeah, when they like stand up on their hind legs, they're the size of like a giraffe. Just everything up north is just the size of a giraffe if it stands on two legs.
I thought, okay, so you're being serious. I thought that was just a callback to what you said a little bit ago.
It was.
It was.
I was like, everything up north just is as tall as a giraffe when it stands up, including people.
I'm just filling Bard with the fear of God.
Now I'm picturing that every time the 242 stands up from narrating, she's as tall as a giraffe.
She hits her head on the ceiling because she's too tall, and they build the houses for like not tall people.
You can't do that. Now Bard's scared of Canada.
Now I'm terrified of Canada.
Canada, land of the giraffes.
The only reason they haven't conquered all of us yet is because they're so nice and polite up there. Oh.
And if you thought that was terrifying, just wait till you see how tall pine trees are. They're the size of a giraffe.
They're as tall as many giraffe. Like, if a giraffe were to stand upright, which would make it as tall as a giraffe, if it were standing upright.
Well, have you seen a Canadian giraffe? Like when they stand up on their hind legs.
Is that like the regional variant?
Two giraffes.
Damn it.
The regional variant of a giraffe. Canadian giraffe.
Is the size of two giraffes.
Is the size of two giraffes.
We heard you like giraffes, so we put a giraffe on your giraffe so you could look at a giraffe while you're watching your giraffe, eh?
Now, here's the problem that I'm having with this is that, now that I've equated it to Pokemon, I'm like, well, what would a Canadian giraffe look like? And I'm picturing like a giraffe with like two necks and two heads, which...
Just a Siamese giraffe.
Which is super baller. I'm surprised nobody at the Pokemon company has come up with that yet.
I was thinking of like a giraffe-sized moose.
Oh, God help me.
Yeah.
That looks incredibly goofy in my mind, but is no less horrifying.
I don't know if I'd be happy or afraid for my life if I just saw like a moose that was the size of a giraffe.
I'm pretty sure.
Or a giraffe with like a moose's head.
Because here's the thing, like a lot of these things are super huge, and in like logic dictates that the bigger it is, the slower it'll be. But for some reason, like these animals are massive and just tower over everything around them, and they also move at the speed of like a decently new mid-sized sedan. So it's kind of like, wow. So like a moose can chase you down at 45 miles per hour, a polar bear can run like at around 30 miles per hour, and a hippo surprisingly can reach 25 miles per hour, which should just not happen. And yeah, hippos themselves are equally awful in terms of being like an animal that you don't want to be attacked by. I'm on a tangent. Why am I on this tangent?
I was
I
just
like
letting
it.
it happen.
I think
You
it's
should have heard him the other night when we were talking, Raven, because we were just going over the ban list for Yugi Man, and he would just say something, and the next thing I know, we're talking about like maple syrup and bacon. It's like ban list Bard, yeah, bacon.
I just happen to believe that Canada is filled with terrors that we have not yet discovered, and that's based off of the terrors that we have discovered, such as the moose, because a lot of it is unexplored. Maybe not unexplored, but it's uninhabited. And an uninhabited wilderness has a tendency to hide really terrifying things, such as Bigfoot and the Mothman.
It's like whenever you're playing D&D and you come across a wolf. A wolf's not that scary, but when the DM puts the word dire in front of it, whole new ball game there. That's what Canada is. Everything in Canada has the word Canadian in front of it, which is the equivalent of dire.
Canadian
So
bacon. Oh no!
it's extra large bacon.
I like Somber mentioning the All Father of the North, the polar bear with a giraffe neck and moose antlers.
God help me. That
That's just nightmare fuel.
that is in fact nightmare fuel. Yes. That is wow.
You've seen an American goose. Just wait till you see a Canadian goose. It's like
It's
four
the same
times.
goose.
It's like 4 times the size. It's like the size of a giraffe.
Jesus Christ.
It can dislodge its jaw.
God.
When it
Unhinges its jaw and just consumes cars whole.
when it honks, it's like it's not like a regular goose honk. It's like a semi truck.
It's like like a decently priced mid-sized sedan. That's what Canadian geese eat. They just go eat a sedan, and that's how they're able to honk.
Wow, this conversation got off the rails really weirdly.
It happens.
It's what happens when you have me as a friend.
Yeah, but yeah, Canadian animals are terrifying, and you know, Alaskan by proxy, being that they're so close to each other.
I'm basically the same country at that point.
A little bit, yeah, with the exception that also Alaska has like the most alien sightings per capita than the rest of the United States. That's just a thing that I heard the other day. I didn't do any work to verify that. I just, I heard it, and I am now regurgitating it here.
My mom was talking about that the other day, actually, when I was at her house. She was talking about how on the news they were talking about all of these different alien sightings and stuff the government had recently said there were. And she's like, that's something that really scares me and everything. It's like, I mean, the possibility of another life form being out there is there's billions of planets in our universe, not our solar system. There's billions of planets.
There's
One of them
billions
has
of
to have
planets
life
in our
forms.
solar system.
Somebody failed cosmology course, I see.
Just thousands of planets constantly smashing into each other in our universe.
Speaking of planets smashing into each other, like a while ago, whenever we were
Smash your
talking,
past planets. Okay, let's go Earth.
well, you're not far off from what I was going to ask. A couple of years ago, like during the whole Area 51, let's raid Area 51 thing, everybody was talking about clapping alien cheeks. Dare, Raven, thoughts?
If they're from like Zarbok 4, yeah, Smash, but like I don't. The other alien planets, no.
I wasn't expecting an answer, to be honest. But I was asking Dareinger too, so I mean, I don't know why I wasn't expecting an answer.
I am a happily married man.
Yes. But I guess the question that I was gonna ask, that I meant to ask, and I just decided to go for the clapping aliens, was alien life. Like, is it a thing that you think is there, or is it a thing that you do not think is there?
Oh, 100%. Just a
Like I
matter of
said,
numbers. It's impossible to say there's not.
statistically, there's like billions of planets within the universe. To
Yeah.
to say that we're the only planet that can produce a life form would be a little silly.
Hmm.
Because I mean, like even if like the other life on planets isn't technologically developed, which I doubt that if there's life that they wouldn't be. There's got to be like bacteria or something on another planet
Mm.
that has
Yeah.
found its
There's
way to grow.
there's definitely sentient life out there that exists.
Yeah, I do like that back during like beginning of the COVID scare, the government did release like here's photos of aliens that we took, but everyone was just like COVID, scary. We don't care about aliens right now, and now it's just like we don't care.
We're slingshotting back. I feel like so it because I've noticed I watch like a lot of YouTubers who are like, hey, why aren't people talking about this? So I feel like there's certain groups that are kind of like slingshotting back. That at the beginning of the quarantine, they were like everybody was like, yeah, we don't, COVID, we gotta be, we're scared of this, and then the government's all like, aliens might exist, and everyone's like, yeah, but the virus, and now that we have that immediate fear behind us, we're like, wait a minute, what did you say about that?
You mean there are aliens and we've got proof?
Oh no, we
But
already offered this up. You're not getting it
but
now.
I know.
but viruses. Dude, what about that virus you were concerned about? These are our alien pictures. Get your own.
Like you, as far as I go, I mean, like I think that it is like a very real possibility, like 100%. It always gets me, and I forget what the theory is called. I think it was like it's not the Fermi paradox, is it? Where the guys are like, yeah, well, so if the math adds up, and the probability of them existing is so high, uh, then where are they? Why haven't we heard from them yet? You would imagine that, just by happenstance, we would have happened to catch some glimpse,
I
because,
mean, our species has only been alive for a very small period of time in the existence of the universe.
well, yeah, sure. So, like, maybe we wouldn't have seen them, but, like, why haven't they tried, like, assuming that and I forget how the argument goes because I'm in my head whenever I hear these things I'm like, yeah, why not, and then I just immediately forget about it. But I think that the thing that they did is that they did math and they said, here's the way that we figure it. We are a relatively young species, but the universe has been around for this long, which means that just mathematically there should be a species that's more advanced. There should be many of them that have been around for longer than we have. And if that's the case, then where are they? You think that they would be easy to spot.
Well, it's like what I believe it was Stephen Hawking said. Um, if there is life out there that is more technologically advanced and able to travel the vast distances of space, one of two things would happen. Either A, they would not even bother with us because we are so technologically in advanced, I guess is what
Inept.
inept.
Yeah.
That's the word.
I've tried to
They,
teach my
they would,
grandpa how to use an iPhone. I know exactly what Stephen Hawking's talking about.
but they would either just not even give us any mind because they would see us as a primitive species,
Hmm.
or they would come and enslave us because we would have some kind of material on Earth they would want. I mean, neither of those have happened. We have the like hearsay of, oh, hey, so and so was abducted by aliens. We've got pictures of aliens. This happened and aliens. But that's the thing I'm gonna stick with is what Mr. Hawkins said of we're not we're not even a blip on their radar. They could care less because we're so primitive compared to them. Which, I mean, if you think about it, if they're able to travel light years and we can't send people to like a planet next over to us, they're doing something right.
Hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's to even assume that light travel is possible. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah.
Maybe they can't, just like we can't.
And that's another thing is for our understanding of the universe is limited currently, whereas an alien life form, if they were able to travel long distance like that, they most likely know a lot more about the universe than we do, in the fact that maybe we can travel faster than light. Everything we know says that nothing is able to exceed that speed limit, but maybe they have knowledge that we don't. Maybe physics don't apply to them.
Maybe.
Maybe
And that's another thing, I guess, is like just because.
maybe everything we do and say is just part of a virtual reality system.
Oh, that's the other
Wake
thing.
up, Raven. Wake up. Wake up, Raven. Raven, wake up.
Nah.
Nah, it's like I'm good. Like
I
fuck.
know what's out there. I'm good where I am right now.
Nah, I'm good, fam. I'm going back to sleep.
5 more
Fair enough.
minutes.
Yeah.
Uh,
I am a snoozer.
that's kind of the other thing that I was gonna say though is that like a lot of the times it's like, okay, well, how come we haven't found them? And I'm like, one thing that I have to ask is like, well, how would we know them once we saw them? I mean, we're under the presumption that we're looking for another carbon-based life form that acts and behaves in a way similar to what we've seen. What if they're not carbon-based and they're completely alien? Like pun intended.
And yeah, that's a completely rational thing to think too, because up until it was a couple years ago, we thought that only like carbon-based life forms existed, and then they found like some weird cyanobacteria that wasn't a complete carbon-based life form, and it was weird, and uh, scientists were just like, this changes a lot of things.
Yep.
So, one of the theories as to why we haven't, I'm reading the Fermi paradox on Wikipedia, and the 2 points that stand out to me the most are it is the nature of intelligent life to destroy itself, and it is the nature of intelligent life to destroy others. As bleak and grim as that sounds, that may also be it. That these civilizations have existed, they just don't currently.
I've routinely dated women that are smarter than me, and it is the nature of the intelligent ones to destroy either others or themselves. I have stories.
I don't know if I need to be like, are you okay, Bard? You need like a hug or something?
I'm okay now, but for a while there, I was scared for my life.
Oh man.
This is where we hear Bard's wife just in the background. What did you say?
You were scared? You were scared, you said? No, honey.
But seriously, that is an excellent point, though. I mean, like, we're also kind of like there's two different camps here. Like whenever we're talking about aliens, we got like the people who are afraid that they might be real, which is a perfectly legitimate stance to have. You don't know what they're up to, so maybe you should be a little wary. But we also have the people who are kind of like, altruistically, let's reach out. It's going to be a huge universe party where everybody gets along. And I'm like, historically, whenever two different nations clash, it doesn't typically end well for one of them.
Right.
Yeah, it always starts with oh hey yeah, let's be friends. We're cool. We like friendship is awesome. And then it's like a month after, it's like we're we're stronger than you. You're our slaves now.
Yeah.
Have fun with that.
You guys ever watch Futurama?
Yes.
I love the episode where they travel back in time. You know, the one where Fry becomes his own grandpa. Uh, and Dr. Zoidberg gets taken to Area 51. And I just, I love how FDR comes in swinging. He's like, okay, here's the deal. Surrender to us now. If you come in peace, surrender to us now. If you come in war, we surrender. I'm like, that's technically the whole, the whole alien thing in just in a nutshell. Yes, you know, like some people are like, I don't know, man, that's kind of terrifying. And some other people are like, yeah, you know, like we'll all get along. It's great, and it's yeah, no, there's no in between. But I don't know. Like I'm a generally optimistic person, so I would love to believe that if we ever did make contact, that we would find a way to work it out, you know, and you know, just become the Star Trek universe where many different alien species work together collectively to just be awesome. Um, it might be that. But realistically, it's probably going to be kind of ugly for a while before we can see eye to eye.
I'd like to think it's like the episode of South Park where, like, the Black Knight that people keep saying orbits the Earth is just basically a space camera, and as soon as we find a way to like get interplanetary travel, they're gonna send like a bunch of people down to test to see if we're actually ready to join like the Galactic Federation. And then we're gonna screw it up, and they're gonna like put a force field around us and be like, "You're in timeout forever."
Because that's kind of another thing is, you know, like so for example, it's easy for us to think that we're awesome because here on Earth we're all we know, and to us we're pretty cool. But it's like the homeschooled kid going to a to a public school for the first time. We might find out that you know, compared to the rest of the intelligent species out there, we're kind of obnoxious.
We're the Olympic medal meme where it's the guy like partying and
Yes.
cheering, and he's like in third place.
Right, the guy in third place, just like, yeah, boy. I kind of feel like it would be hilarious if, galactically speaking, if we ever make contact, we as Earth are the meme. You know, like we're chanting "Go Earth" in the same way that most people go USA, USA.
There's one thing we can all agree on is that we don't want our planet to explode. Oh wait.
I don't know about that.
Can-
There's some
can we all
agree
agree
on
on
that?
Can we all agree on that?
I don't know, man. I've been on Reddit. I've read some things where I'm just like, "Hi, there, a comet should just wipe us all out right now."
I think honestly, like, it's too hot. What we need is another nuclear winter
Oh God.
where it's just we block out the sun.
Wait,
Let
another?
Yeah, actually, that's a good question. Another? Where was the first one?
we'll block out the sun. Let the Earth cool down to freezing a bit. Be nice and cold.
What do you know that we don't know?
This isn't the first time humans were on the Earth.
Oh,
Shit.
speaking of that, and we might need to make a different episode for that because I swear, like we're past our time limit, that arbitrary time limit of an hour and a half that I normally put on an episode, which we've gone over many times, but I'm just pointing it out. But there's that whole idea that, oh gosh, I'm gonna have to share a video with you because I know I'm gonna butcher this. However, there are signs that cities that exist today are built on cities that were buried long ago. And it would be one thing if it was one city. However, it's a worldwide phenomenon that there
Do.
that there is like records and just like you know, just what do you call it, blueprints for buildings that exist but that were built a long time ago, and everybody's just kind of seeing, and they're like, but wait, these blueprints indicate that this building is several stories taller than what it is now. And whenever you look at the original blueprint and you look at the building itself, you realize a lot of it is buried underground, and this is weird. And some fringe theorists have come to the idea that, well, maybe humanity's been around for a long, long time before what we actually believed was true. And there seems to be just missing pieces of history that omit this idea that there was like a massive just earth flood, which sounds weird when you say it, but it's basically what they're kind of pointing it out. It's like, it looks like a lot of cities were just buried right around the same time. And I swear, I'm gonna have to find the video and show you guys whenever I run into it, because as I was watching, I was like, oh my gosh, I've seen buildings that have had those same signatures, and I wondered to myself, why would you build a window that you were just gonna bury? And I'm like, huh.
Well, see, this is Nevermore Nerd conspiracy theory episode. I'm afraid of where it's going to go, but I'm ready for it.
Okay.
It'll be amazing. I was going to say something, and then my mind went completely blank.
Is this the theory where there's like a mind goblin?
No, I remember what it was. Lizard people. Lizard people.
Lizard people.
I was gonna say, how do you go from a dinosaur to a human? There's no like, because it's a lizard and then a human. So there has to have been like some kind of lizard that turned into a lizard person, and then lizard people.
Yeah. Like the whole theory with David Icke, he's just like, they're lizard people, they live underground, they're shapeshifters, and they control our governments.
That's how we get the underground buildings that you were talking about, is lizard people.
Yeah, because they live down there.
I'm a scientist.
Makes total sense. You are a scientist. You are.
Like literally, Dareinger is a scientist. He has the.
That means I'm correct.
All right. So when is the conspiracy episode going to be a thing? Because I want to hear it.
15 minutes after the show.
This is definitely something that I'm happy to pencil in now, because I'm like, crap, because there's so much I have to say. I gotta go take notes. Because I know that I could rant about this stuff all day. However, like I said, my mind is selective in what it keeps. And
it'll be an hour and a half of Bard rambling about random conspiracies, and then just me being like, yeah, lizard people.
I end up looking like the Charlie Day meme with like the board with all the stuff on it, and he's just like making connections.
The connections don't actually connect, but you've got them connected anyways, because that's how you are.
Yeah, so
we don't know the connection, but we know it's there.
Right. It's like, gosh, I don't know. Like, so people often refer to like their survival instinct as their lizard brain. Lizard brain inside a person? Lizard person?
Jesus. All right.
All right, but
I think I'm good.
That'll be all for today, everyone. Thank you for stopping by to watch me and Raven guess at Daringer's challenge, and then Raven and I just losing ourselves to this. Raven Dareinger and I losing ourselves to this this conspiracy web, this spiral of madness that is the human condition. That may or may not be alone in the universe, for we don't know what's out there, but I want to believe.
Same.
What are bees?
Arby's?
Arby's. That's
Arby's.
The Tales from Willowsboro.
Tales from Merlesboro.
Close enough.
Merlesboro.
That's how you say it in their accent.
But thank you, everybody who showed up in the chat. I appreciate all of you. I saw Pimp, Demon, Somber Puppet, PA Nightmares, Patience G. You guys are awesome.
Gamma Akutabi is in there too,
I'm
and hair raising narratives showed up
yeah,
there at the end.
Gamma Akutabi, hair raising narratives was here. So yeah, like just the whole crew was here. And like we're like Vin Diesel. We don't have friends. We got family. And
And nothing's more important than family.
exactly. Be sure to tune in next week for the fourth monthly Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel tournament, where I will probably put up another Macho Man Randy Savage parody. I'm considering it. Uh, and just good times all around. And additionally, be sure to check out everybody's links in the description. We all got good stuff in the works. Raven is, like I said, phenomenal content creator, and your favorite bard has recently hit 400 subs on his channel.
I don't know how you're only at
Congratulations.
400. You should be way past that.
Probably because YouTube's not pushing me because I've been on hiatus ever since I started recording
That's
audiobooks.
Quality wise, you should be way past that. Is what I meant to say. Like,
Thank you. I appreciate that. But thank you, everybody, like I said. And once you join the collective, you can leave Nevermore. Have a nice day, a great weekend, and we'll see you next time.